During the last newsreel, we learned how the Knoxville area cluster has developed through its commitment to a large number of people completing the sequence of courses. With a wider pool of trained individuals, the Knoxville area Baha'is have been able to increase the number of activities in their cluster, which has expanded their capacity to foster community life. This time, we will look at the San Gabriel Valley cluster in California. Like the communities around Knoxville, San Gabriel Valley is an A cluster and has been invigorated by the Training Institute process. The San Gabriel Valley cluster has created a welcoming and supportive community life that continues to attract people to the Baha'i faith.
We have 17 communities in our cluster, 13 with Baha'is, 6 assemblies, almost 800,000 people in our cluster. We're over 100 square miles, so we're pretty big.
The Institute process serves as the engine, which generates resources and feeds them directly into the cluster.
When people are in study circles, they're exposed to the Word of God, and they learn and internalize the Baha'i principles, which is inevitably going to make them better human resources. It's going to, A, give them the drive to serve, and B, it's going to give them tools.
In addition to the 3 core activities, historically successful teaching initiatives like Firesides continue to contribute to the growth of the cluster. James and Dorothy Nelson have been holding a fireside for more than 40 years in their home in Pasadena, and it continues to provide a chance for seekers to gain an introductory understanding of the Baha'i teachings and history.
We'll explain the principles at first, and then they rave about the speaker. They always bronze them in words. And then they have wonderful refreshments, and it's the fellowship. And it's not just one type of person that goes there.
We've been encouraging each other, supporting each other, and showing up to each other's events.
This spirit of encouragement has released the initiative and leadership of the youth in the cluster.
That's been the most powerful tool, is really utilizing our youth and their energy and spirit. And they're not afraid to fail. They're excited about trying new things, and they've been awesome.
When we put it all together on a cluster level, we've got this wonderful group of youth who are just completely on fire, completely taking the lead, and all of us old folks are just sitting back saying, this is great.
Youth has set an example for me as a new Baha'i. They are always taking action. They're taking initiative, doing firesides, volunteering, hosting, cluster meetings.
Among the many initiatives sustaining the energy and growth of this cluster are reflection meetings. These meetings have been key to fostering a learning mode in which community members share successes, raise questions, and set attainable goals.
By participating in the cluster, you then grow and expand that core of human resources. So, for instance, the other communities within our cluster know that we have children's teachers. So they will often ask us to come and either do trainings, or they will ask us to do the firesides when they have firesides. So you expand the scope of human resources beyond your just single community.
My adored one, my king.
Everybody doesn't come through the same initial door. There's some people who come through a Ruhi class, and that's their first introduction to it because they have a friend who says, come over here. There's some people who come through proclamation to enter in through it.
We looked at the core activities, devotional meetings, children's classes, and study circles, as being of the utmost importance in our community. But what we did was also recognize this notion that this was not for Baha'is. that this really was for seekers. And then we just kind of said, let's just do it. If the House of Justice says our classes are open, let's really open them and invite the seekers. And I think we were amazed because they liked it.
You know, you walk into Baha'i school, and you can see that the oneness is there. Everybody's in, you know, their families, their friends. You know, everybody comes, and it's always made me feel like I'm part of the Baha'i family.
I have been a Baha'i for approximately 6 months. I needed support as a new Baha'i, and I got that. I was in not only firesides from all over this cluster. The community pulled together. They got the New Believers courses going for us. We have the Baha'i school. I was able to jump in because the community provided the support for me, and that established a connection for me. All this stuff allowed me to get into it and feel good about it, and because you still feel kind of unsure when it's new. And so that has really given me a really good foundation.
Attempts to get people involved sort of didn't really happen for whatever reason. Most of the time, if you wanted something done, the assembly just sort of threw up its hands and said, okay, we're going to do it ourselves.
So I think everyone really gets the feeling that the culture has changed.
I guess I felt the fire in my soul just telling me, you know, it's time to not sit on your butt anymore and you can't just read in your room and tell people you're Baha'i. It's about the action.